The Magical Adventures of Alice in Wonderland. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Alice who lived in a small village in England. Alice was a curious and imaginative girl, always seeking adventure and excitement. One day, while playing in the garden, she saw a white rabbit run past her with a pocket watch in his hand. Without hesitation, Alice followed the rabbit down a rabbit hole, which seemed to go on and on. Eventually, she found herself in a strange and magical world, where nothing was as it seemed. The flowers could talk, the animals wore clothes, and the Queen of Hearts ruled over everything. As Alice explored this new world, she encountered many bizarre characters, each with their own unique quirks and personalities. There was the Cheshire Cat, who could disappear and reappear at will, the Mad Hatter, who was always throwing tea parties, and the Queen of Hearts, who had a fiery temper and loved to order executions. Despite the strange and often dangerous situations Alice found herself in, she continued on her adventures, determined to see everything this magical world had to offer. Along the way, she made friends with the White Rabbit, who had started it all, and the gentle Mock Turtle, who taught her about the complexities of life. One day, while exploring the forest, Alice stumbled upon a magical garden filled with talking flowers. She was delighted to find that each flower had its own distinct personality, and she spent hours chatting with them and learning their secrets. But all was not well in Wonderland. The Queen of Hearts had become increasingly tyrannical, and her orders were becoming more and more extreme. She ordered executions at the slightest provocation, and Alice began to fear for her own safety. Determined to put an end to the Queen's reign of terror, Alice sought the help of her newfound friends. Together, they hatched a plan to overthrow the Queen and restore order to Wonderland. Their plan involved a great deal of cunning and bravery, but in the end, they were successful. The Queen of Hearts was defeated, and Alice became the new ruler of Wonderland. She ruled with kindness and fairness, and under her leadership, the land prospered. As the years passed, Alice grew older and wiser, but she never forgot the magical adventures she had in Wonderland. She often wondered if it had all been a dream, but the memories were too vivid and real to be dismissed as mere fantasy. In the end, Alice knew that she had been changed forever by her experiences in Wonderland. She had learned to be brave in the face of danger, to appreciate the wonders of the world around her, and to value the importance of friendship and kindness. And so, Alice lived the rest of her life as a beloved queen, beloved by all who knew her. Her legacy lived on for generations, as tales of her magical adventures in Wonderland continued to be told and retold, inspiring new generations of dreamers and adventurers. As the years passed, Alice continued to rule over Wonderland with kindness and fairness. She made sure that every creature in her kingdom was happy and well cared for. She spent her days exploring the magical world she had discovered and meeting new creatures she had never seen before. One day, while she was walking in the forest, Alice came across a young girl who was lost and crying. The girl's name was Lily, and she had wandered into Wonderland by accident. Alice took Lily under her wing and showed her all the wonders of her kingdom. Lily was amazed by all the strange and wonderful things she saw in Wonderland, and Alice was happy to have a new friend. They spent many happy hours together, exploring the gardens, talking to the animals, and playing games. But as time went on, Alice noticed that Lily was becoming increasingly homesick. She missed her family and her own world, and she didn't know how to get back home. Alice tried to console her, but she knew that there was only one way for Lily to return to her own world. Alice decided to help Lily find her way back home. She knew that it would be a difficult journey, but she was determined to help her friend. Together, they set out on a perilous adventure, facing all kinds of dangers and obstacles along the way. As they traveled through the forest, Alice and Lily encountered all sorts of strange creatures. Some were friendly, like the talking caterpillar and the singing flowers, while others were more dangerous, like the Jabberwocky and the Bandersnatch. But Alice was fearless, and she used her wits and her courage to protect herself and Lily from harm. With her guidance, they navigated through dark and treacherous caverns, crossed raging rivers, and climbed towering mountains. Finally, after many long and difficult weeks, Alice and Lily reached the edge of Wonderland. They could see Lily's own world on the horizon, just beyond a shimmering portal. Alice hugged Lily tightly, tears in her eyes. "I'll miss you, my friend," she said. "I'll miss you too, Alice," Lily replied. "Thank you for everything." With a heavy heart, Alice watched as Lily stepped through the portal and disappeared into her own world. She knew that she would never forget her friend, and she hoped that Lily would always remember the magical adventures they had shared. As Alice walked back into Wonderland, she felt a sense of emptiness in her heart. But then she remembered all the wonders of her kingdom, and she knew that there were still many more adventures waiting for her. And so she continued to rule over Wonderland, sharing its magic and wonder with anyone who was brave enough to follow the White Rabbit down the rabbit hole. As time passed, Alice continued to rule over Wonderland with wisdom and kindness. She knew that Lily's departure had left a void in her heart, but she was determined not to let it dampen her spirits. She spent her days exploring the magical realm, making new friends, and experiencing new adventures. One day, while she was walking in the garden, Alice came across a small girl who was crying. She was a lost child who had wandered into Wonderland by mistake. Alice felt a pang of sympathy for the girl and knew that she had to help her find her way back home. Alice took the girl under her wing and showed her all the wonders of Wonderland. She taught her how to talk to the flowers, play with the animals, and explore the hidden corners of the realm. As they spent more time together, Alice felt her heart fill with joy once again. The girl's name was Emily, and she quickly became Alice's new friend. They spent every moment together, talking, laughing, and exploring the magical kingdom. Emily was fascinated by everything she saw, and Alice was happy to have a companion once again. As they explored the realm, Alice noticed that there was a growing darkness that seemed to be spreading across Wonderland. Strange and dangerous creatures began to appear, and the peaceful creatures were beginning to be afraid. Alice knew that she had to investigate. Alice and Emily set out on a quest to find the source of the darkness. As they traveled deeper into the realm, they encountered all kinds of obstacles and dangers. But Alice was determined to find the cause and restore peace to her kingdom. Finally, they discovered that the source of the darkness was a wicked sorcerer who had come to Wonderland to claim it for his own. The sorcerer had an army of fierce creatures at his command, and he was determined to destroy Alice and rule over Wonderland forever. Alice knew that this was the greatest challenge she had ever faced. She rallied her allies and gathered her courage, determined to protect her realm and her people. She led a daring attack on the sorcerer's stronghold, facing fierce resistance every step of the way. In the end, it was Alice's bravery and determination that saved the day. She defeated the sorcerer and banished him from Wonderland forever. The realm was safe once again, and Alice was hailed as a hero. As she looked out over her kingdom, Alice knew that she had found her true purpose in life. She had been chosen to protect Wonderland and its inhabitants, and she knew that she would always be ready to do whatever it takes to keep them safe. And so, Alice continued to rule over Wonderland with wisdom, courage, and compassion. She knew that there would always be new challenges and new adventures waiting for her, and she was ready to face them all with a smile on her face and a heart full of wonder.